זו הפרשה וישב ליום ראשון. רבי שמעון אמר, תחזה. Shimon says, come and see, Ketiv, it's written in Kohelet, Tov Yelet Misken Vechacham. It's better a child that is poor but Chacham, but wise. So ask, Ma Yeled Misken? What is the Yeled Misken? This, this is the Yetzer HaTov. Why? Because as we had said before, that the Yetzer HaTov comes after the Yetzer Hara, which means the Yetzer Hara comes to someone as soon as he's born, and the Yetzer HaTov comes when he's Bar Mitzvah, 13 years old. So in one person, the Yetzer HaTov is 13 years younger than the Yetzer Hara. So that's why he's the Yeled. אבל טוב ילד, הדהוד הכתיב. נער הייתי גם זקנתי. When he says also, טוב הילד, he says, there's a, in Tehillim, it's written, I was a young man, and then now I became older. And this is for the angel Memtet, that we cannot pronounce his name. Okay, but this is the name of the highest of all the angels. Okay, there are different levels of angels in different worlds, but this name, this angel, is the highest and the closest to Hashem from all the other angels. And this is, he's called Nar. Why? Because also he's called a poor child, because he doesn't get anything from himself. All he gets is from the Midat HaMalchut. So what is called Nar? Because he has a renewal only from the moon. And we know what is the moon. The moon is the Malchut, right? And he only gets from it. And then he gets, because we know that angels don't have anything for themselves, right? They only do what they are told to do. And they just execute. So this is what he wants to say, that even this highest angel still has nothing from himself. He gets from Malchut, right? And then he transmits. And what he gets, then he transmits back. So that's why he's always called a poor child, because he always needs the Shekhinah to give him. He says, it's also a name that's given to this angel, Memtet. Because he has this Midat of Malchut, that's also called Chokhmah, always within him. So I think what he's trying to say here, that even the highest of the angels has nothing of himself. You know, even the highest, it depends on something. So even more us, you know, where are we compared to this? You know, when we're talking about the Zohar in some parts, they describes just the size of these angels, and he gives like midot, you know, like thousands of kilometers long and thousands of kilometers this, and this, so big and so, and we are what? We're nothing. So even with him, completely depends on Hashem. So how much should we feel like we also completely dependent on him? So when we say also the king, the old king, we are talking about the Yetzer Hara. Because from the time that man is born, he says all his goals are to make sure that man sins and make him go in the wrong ways, and that this is what it's that the reason why he exists. And he impurifies man and pushes him out from the right derech. But man do not know how to be careful about that. והוא התאים בננשה בתסקופים בגין התאמה לא מאור הכתבה לאור בישה. So that's why this comes to man with בעלילות, you know, with malice. How we say that in English? with malice. Yeah, with malice, to make sure that he makes them sin. So in reality, we have to be so careful, because we really have an enemy, all of us, and this enemy is Yetzer Hara. Each one of us will have this one. It's a real enemy. His goal is to make us sin and not to make us do the right thing. And even, it could be, there's another thing about Yetzer Hara. Even if it doesn't make you sin, it can stop you from reaching your potential. It is as bad. So you can say, well, I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm kosher, I do Shabbat. What does he do? Yeah, but you're doing this. But maybe you stopped or doing something that you could do. And that's his job. That's why he comes from the day that man is born. So a child, as soon as he's born, he has Yetzer Hara and he's used to him. And that's why when Yetzer Hara comes, after that he's 13 years old, and he doesn't believe him. And he sees him more like poor, like a weight that he has to carry. Like that's what a boy thinks. Why? How come now I have to act like this and act like this? He has to change. He has to start putting on the tefillin. He has to go pray. He has to do things. He has to be responsible. And this for him is like a weight. It takes time before he can get used to that. As we have learned also, who is called a Rasha Aum? I mean, a Rasha with malice. This is the one that comes in front of the Dayan and starts telling his story before his counterpart comes. And we know that Alacha, Dayan is not allowed to do that. Like he will say, Tzadik Arishon Beriboy Vegomer. He says the one that has a chance to give his version first has always an advantage on the one, on somebody that comes, because it's hard to undo things that were done. Like this one that the guy tells his friend, I'm going to tell everybody that you're beating up your sister. So the guy says, well, I have no sister. He says, well, you'll tell them that, okay? Try to undo it after, okay? You want to know Rasha Ahum? Who's the Rasha Ahum? Shua Yetzer Hara. He's the Yetzer Hara. He's the Rasha that he has a lot of malice. He made a tamer, like written in Bereshit, V'nachash Aya Ahum. So you see here is giving, just like this, giving something very powerful. He says here, in the Bereshit, when we read the Nachash, we're talking about the snake, right? So some think that it was a snake, that it was a malach. Yes, some say that it was a malach, an angel. But what angel was he? He's the Yetzer Hara. I mean, what this represented the creation of the Yetzer Hara in the world, because Hashem decided that it was going to be good and bad, right? So this way we can have free choice. So to have free choice, he created this Yetzer Hara, and the Torah tells us about this creation of Yetzer Hara as the thing between the snake and Chava, etc. See? So then there's always this question: didn't Hashem know that Chava was going to take the fruit, and he know that Adam was also going to eat it? Of course he knew, because he created the Yetzer Hara. That was the first step, but he did. So then we said that the Yetzer Hara starts living inside the man before his counterpart comes, which is the Yetzer Hatov. Begin the Agdim ve'athin ta'ante imei. So since he's first, then the child gets used to him more. And when the Yetzer Hatov comes, he says it is difficult for man to live with him. And then we said that it's difficult for the boy when he's 13, he becomes a man, to start and having all these responsibilities. Begin Rasha Arum Dakim Imei, because this Rasha, which has a lot of malice, preceded him. ועדה אמר שלמה, וחוכמה מסכן בזויה, בגין דאגדים אחרה. And that's why he says that the chokhmah, the wisdom of the poor is humiliated, if we can say that. Why? Because it's not heard. We don't really listen to what he has to say. And that's why Dayan that listens to one side before the second one comes. It is as if he's receiving, or if he has Elohim Acherim, if he has other gods. We know that he has to wait until the second one comes, and then he's going to hear both sides. And this is also the way of a man that is just. Because a wise man will not believe one side before he hears the other side. And the same thing, when the Yetzer Hara comes and start to tell him and try to make him go in the wrong way, he won't listen to him until he sends the Yetzer Hara. So Yetzer Hara tells the guy, you know what, just put your signature here, it's no big deal. Says, hey, wait. Then he has to see on the right side, like, what do you say? And Yetzer Hara says, listen, maybe it's not that bad to do it, but it's still not honest because this. In other words, he has to hear both sides. He has to bring up his Yetzer Hara and ask himself, so what do you have to say about that? And it's because they don't do that men fall in the trap. And they fall in the trap for Olam Haba. Because they have listened to the Yetzer Hara before the Yetzer Hara came, and then they don't merit this Olam Haba. But the man that is wise and that fears his Lord, how many arot, how many suffering he has to endure, because he does his best, right, to not go as the Yetzer Hara says. Okay, he always has to resist. He always has to fight, and this is not an easy thing. It's very easy, to say, what, I just want to have a steak. I want to go to Chops, it's $300 or whatever, just go here and have a steak. It's the easy way. But no, you have to say, no, I have to go to a kosher restaurant, I have to do this. I'm just giving an example. But to do the right thing always takes more effort. That's what he wants to say. And the more effort, so it's more thinking, it's more, it's not easy to do all these things. But this is the way. But Hashem, when he sees someone that does all this effort, he saves him from everything. As it is written, Hashem. He says, written a lot of suffering to the just, and from all Hashem will save him. But if you see, it's not written Rabot Arot La Tzadik. La Tzadik. See, because it should be written a lot of suffering to the just, but it's written a lot of suffering the just. Why? Because it says Rabbi Raphael, the one that has a lot of suffering is a tzaddik. You see, le tzaddik will be for the tzaddik, but it's a Rabbi Raphael tzaddik. So the one that has all the suffering, what suffering we're talking about here? That means all the time that he has to think what is the right way, and not take the easy way, and etc. So he's a tzaddik. Begin the kudsha b'richu with the Because Kadosh Baruch Hu wants him. And that's why he pushes him out, or he helps him to push out from all the Yetzer Hara. Begin kach, kudsha b'richu itra'eh be'ahu barnash v'sejiv le mikola be'alma u'be'alma dati. And because this, the Kadosh Baruch Hu wants him not only in this world, but in the Olam Haba, and saves him from all the bad things in this world. So I go, okay, happy is his lot. You know, what does he says something that is very interesting. Uh, what does Zohar say by he saves him? Because in reality, a man cannot save himself from the Yetzer Hara. It's not possible.
Not alone.
He can't. Impossible. Let me say, we are flesh and blood, and he's fire. There's no way. The only way we are saved is because Hashem helps us. That's why we have to pray. We have to pray to Hashem that He should help us. Because if someone says, you know what, I know what I'm doing, I'm strong and I can, no, you're completely wrong. We're so fragile. This thing, anyone, the biggest of us, the wisest can fall down like this. No, we're saved, right? It doesn't take much. Okay? But when we have this protection, as the Zohar says, and Hashem protects us, then we have a chance to be saved. Hashem, Amen.